I know the Kenya stans were saying they weren't going to watch this show. They were done with Atlanta. The season finale was last week or whatever the hell they were saying. This is one of the most well-rounded shows on Bravo.
Yeah, it really is. It's highly entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
In spite of all of the things that have been going on the last 2 weeks. But it's almost at the point of can't miss television. Because you really don't know what's going to happen.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. Damn it. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. I just got back from Coachella. So, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see all my fits. I did not go to Coachella. I am on a 2-day hangover because I do a holiday every year with my friends. It's called Million Beers Day.
Yep.
And boy, oh boy, did we get close.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like you guys always get close.
We always get close. The funniest part was, though, we went to Pope down in South Philly afterwards, like after all of the different things that we did. And I ran into somebody, and somebody gave me a high five and said, "Love your podcast." I'm like, oh, bad time. Real bad. I was very nice, of course. I'm always very nice. But
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, it's a real bad look for
There's
me.
probably a video of it. Love your podcast. Say this so much. I love you.
Well, we were obsessed with a card game called The Cube all day.
Oh, did you guys play Cube?
Oh, we played Cube all
Did you
day.
win?
Nope.
Oh, bummer.
Well, we kind of won in the first game, but it nobody knows this game except for, you know what I'm
I
talking
know the
about.
Cube.
It is the most frustrating game ever, but it's the most rewarding game when you actually do win.
Hold on. Can I just do something real quick?
Go for it.
You guys have to understand. Shooter and our buddy from high school will play this game until 5 o'clock in the morning.
We certainly will.
Frequently.
Very frequently. And it got to the point where we had to leave my apartment, even though we spent hours doing it, went out, got to, 2-3 bars in, one of our friends puffed cards to the bar
To play the
so
Cube?
that we could play it at the bar.
That's just commitment.
And we lost 6 more times.
Oh, you guys suck. Well, I appreciate the commitment.
Yeah.
And glad that you survived another Millie Beers Day. It's always it's a very joyous celebration, but it usually...
During the day it is. The day after and the day after that.
It's interesting. I'm curious how much longer the hangovers are going to be, as you get... are you going to commit to this for, the rest of your life?
No, that very well could have been the last one.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I'm just saying that now.
I'm gonna
ask me in a week or two. I'll be like, yeah.
I'm going to egg you guys on. There's no way that it's over, but...
There's no way it's over. But right now we're in the day after tomorrow phase.
Yeah.
So Dennis Quaid's on his way.
So you're not drinking ever again?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're waiting for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
to save me.
There's an obscure one. But let's get into it because I love this show. I think it's great. I didn't notice that Kenya was gone. Granted, we were talking about her for a lot of the show. But my big thing before we jump in, everyone that's a Kenya stan, and obviously she has her army, much like a lot of the OGs do. What did she do this season where it's like, oh my God, we need Kenya on the screen? She wasn't in that much because they edited her out of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we all enjoyed the beginning of this season regardless. So why is it this big L that she's gone? Because she showed what she showed.
That's the state of housewife shows right now, though. Even when those housewives aren't on screen, and you can see it with a lot of the housewives that aren't even on the shows anymore. You'll have people saying, this would be so much better if so-and-so was on here.
Just blind loyalty.
And I agree with you. We didn't feel the missing component of Kenya not being on the show anymore because she, quite frankly, was barely on the show to begin with.
She didn't do
They
shit.
edited her out. We talked about her so much because we knew what was going to happen.
Correct.
We're going to continue to talk about her because there's got to be some fallout as we continue through the season. Although, based on the end of the episode, it might just be Brit versus everybody the way that she's acting. We'll have to see how that goes. But with Kenya not being in the beginning of the show that much, her presence wasn't missed.
It wasn't. And it's just there's a lot of that going around. Blind loyalty when people do horrible things, but you just turn a blind eye to it, whether it be a housewife or somebody else. I don't understand it.
Two blinds doesn't make a right.
No, it does not. That's what they say in the Old Testament, I believe. But let's get into this episode. I've
It
never
actually works pretty well for eye for an eye, but yeah.
Yeah, that was close enough, right? I knew what I was doing there. I don't know a lot about the Bible, but I do know that one.
You know that one.
Anyway, let's get into this episode. We start out with Shamea and just the reactions of everybody. And I think Cynthia's hits the hardest. Cynthia's known Kenya the longest, and she was the most taken aback by this, I think,
Right.
because she knows Kenya better than most, so she knows all of her good sides. So this was one thing, and that's kind of the resounding feelings of everybody is this was horrible. I can't believe she went this far. I'm pretty sure that everybody has just ceased communication with her. I know Cynthia has reached out to her on Watch What Happens Live. She said that, and she has not gotten a response from her. But I think everyone else is just, see ya. I don't think they're going to get involved.
Based on the end of the episode, I can't agree with that, though.
I'm talking about now.
Oh, you mean now, currently. Okay,
I know that
fair.
they all checked in with Kenya to see,
Yeah.
like, yo, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, and there are a lot of different takes on this, and I'm not even talking about the people outside the show, like the fans. On the show itself, you get to see how people are approaching it. And yes, we start off the episode, everybody's kind of reeling, like, what the fuck just happened? We saw Portia's reaction at the end of the episode last week. We get Shamea sitting down. Cynthia, I think I resonate with the most. She's able to just kind of look at this in a bottle and be like, hey, no.
Yeah, bad.
This is wrong. This is not your character. This is not what you should have done. Cynthia is not bringing in, the comments that Brit had made the week before or anything like that. She's just looking at it, isolating the issue itself and saying, absolutely not, you can't do this.
I think that's the biggest takeaway that I got from this episode that I hope a lot of viewers got from this episode, because that was not the case on a lot of social media accounts where it's like, look, I understand that Brit threw the first stone. You have to look at this isolated, because what Kenya did, yes, what Brit did was bad and it should have been more of a big deal. What Kenya did was horrible.
Yeah.
And this episode really paints that. So to go on socials and see people like, oh, now Brit's going to play the victim, this and that. It's like, yeah.
She gets to.
She does a bad job of playing victim.
Very bad job.
Like, I've never seen a victim turn into the antagonist so quickly.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode. But she deserves to feel like shit. Not in a, like, shouldn't, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly
She's
what you're
allowed to
saying.
feel the way she feels.
Even to a certain extent, at the end of the episode, I understand where Brit's coming from. I understand all of the emotions. Like,
I get where that happened.
She's still in her right to do it, but the way our job is, the nature of our job, we have to look at this pragmatically and be like,
Overanalyze.
you can just sit there and be sad.
Be cool.
Sad victim works really well here.
Much better.
Angry victim, not so great.
It doesn't hit quite as well.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and that's what I'm talking about when you look at the cast as a whole, you get different perspectives. Like, oh yeah, like let's try to figure this out. I like Cynthia's the best because I think it's the right take.
I agree.
Like, hey, let's just look at this by itself. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
I agree. But we get the 48 hours later and we're checking in with Brit and Mike. And she's reeling from the whole thing. She hasn't slept in like 2 days. Everyone's reaching out to her, including a lot of people that are tight with Kenya. Just shows you how brazen this whole thing was. But she's going through like her past and these mistakes that she made, like letting her boyfriend film what he filmed. And then Kenya put that up. And then she was, I guess she did like cam work on the internet for a while. I didn't know that. So like she's reliving some of the things in her past. Look, I think the bottom line for me is like, regardless of what you've done, people have made mistakes throughout their entire life. Lord knows I have. You should not have to see those mistakes plastered on poster board in front of other people. So I don't think that it's fair that she gets shamed for anything. I think it's bullshit. If you're doing something to make money and it's like on the up and up and it's legal just because you don't agree with it, I don't think it's a shameful behavior. I've said this since Denise Richards' daughter joined OnlyFans.
Yeah.
People are all up in arms about that. It is what it is. It's the world we live in. Like, they're not bad people because they do certain things. So I hated that the whole thing was used as like a, look how disgusting this person is, because I don't think that that's a fair assumption of who somebody is because of stuff they did when they were like in their teens and early 20s. That's stupid. So,
yeah, I think the discourse online too with all the Kenya fans makes it so much tougher too, because no matter what Kenya did or what she's going to do, people are still going to be on her side. So it's going to make Brit feel worse. And that's when she's talking about how she's got DMs flooding in from all of the Kenya stands. She's got DMs flooding in from people who she worked with in the past, her partners currently. So it's really actually having real world ramifications on what she's trying to do in her career, her life, this show, her marriage, all of those things, her family. So it's really tough to see. And I figured this is probably where we would have started anyway.
Yeah.
When I had an idea. This episode did not go how I thought it was going to go.
No, me either.
At all.
Nope.
But I did figure we would get this up front. And for all the people online that were saying like, hey, you went and did that, you should be at least, not proud, but like, you just own it. Be okay with it. It's like, no.
You don't have to
doesn't
see
have
yourself doing that on
Even if she
something.
did, she's reacting to all of the things that are now happening in response to that. all of the things that are actually affecting her life right now. And she's in, 48 hours in? Let her go.
Let her go. And the other part of it is the decisions that she made back in the day that got her in this position she's in now, right?
Mhm.
Those were her decisions to do that, right? It was her decision to go online and be a cam girl. It was her decision to let her boyfriend film that. It was Kenya's decision to show everybody. That's a very different thing. And just because somebody has a past, like I said, it doesn't mean it needs to be plastered on a fucking poster board
Right.
in front of other people. So anybody that's on the other side of it, I don't know how the fuck you would be on Kenya's side other than blind, dumb loyalty.
Mhm.
You can understand what she's going through here. That has to be just the most depressing feeling ever to like come out of that. But what I will say, I love Kelli. I think Kelly's great. I think she's a real one. I do think that you see her mourning her friendship with Kenya a little bit here.
Yeah.
She's like, I've never seen that side of her. It's like, too bad. If you want to be Brit's friend, you can't be friends with Kenya.
Yeah.
anymore after
There's
that.
just no way around that.
No, not whatsoever. But because this is our job and because we must watch these things so intently, I do have to point out one thing. Brit says that Kenya's been poking me since we met.
Mhm.
She said on Watch What Happens Live, Kenya had it in for me since day one. Even Andy's reaction was like, not really. And if you go back to watching what Kenya did to her, it's like, that's Kenya.
Yeah.
She's gonna poke. She's gonna prod. You took the bait. It's not an excuse for what happened. I'm just saying this thought that Kenya had some kind of vendetta against you, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it at all. And I think it's just par for the course when it comes to housewives. You're a newbie on a show. Nobody really knows you. We always say it all the time. Be nice. Try to make some friends. Maybe try to figure some things out about each other. And then hold on to things. Keep things in the back of your head. This whole thing, and I don't know if we get some sort of confirmation that there was more to the ring comment at the end of the episode because Angela brings it up again.
I think she's being shady.
I think she was just being shady, but like it kind of like scratched an itch in my brain at one point. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Is there something here?
No, I think that it was just the low hanging fruit. She's like, all right, fuck you. You gotta come at me right
You're
now.
probably right. I don't know. And this is, again, this is what we have to do for our job. So I don't get it. I don't think that Kenya's had it out for you since day one. I think this is very typical behavior for an OG housewife with a newbie coming on the show. I don't know who you are. Maybe Brit's energy wasn't the best towards Kenya to start off with, and Kenya's like, fuck you.
I don't know. And it could have just been like a little hazing because you're the newcomer. I don't know. But I don't think that she had it in for her since day one. I don't think she really cared. But whatever. We get to Shamea's. And what I do love about this show as well is we have the ability to meet in a common place with everybody on the cast other than Kenya, obviously. Yeah. This hair, my God. Sorry. There's one.
All right.
If you're not on YouTube, you don't know what just happened. There's one hair. There's just one straggler like poking me in the eyeball.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I looked insane. I'm good now.
Okay.
We can continue now. Like I was saying, I love that there's a common area in which we can get all the ladies together. I love Shamea's house. I want to hang out there as much as humanly possible. Yep. So the whole group goes over there to just recap the whole Kenya thing. Portia's like, I've seen a lot of shit from Kenya. I've witnessed a lot of shit. I've never in my life seen anything like that before. Everybody agrees. And I think the biggest thing against Kenya is how premeditated this was.
Yep.
The amount of time she put into doing this really speaks volumes about how evil it was. If you look at what Brit did, that was the product of emotion. Mm-hmm. Still not okay, but she got amped up and said some stupid shit in the moment versus going to a store.
We talked about this on our community Zoom last week for our members.
That's right. And if you want to join the next community Zoom, make sure you subscribe to the Brav Bros members. Damn, Bros and Shows members. Oh,
damn.
Oh, that felt good, though.
That looked like a good plug.
So
and then it wasn't.
I've gotten better at plugs. But like I was saying, you can click that link in our bio on Instagram. $5 for the month, $50 for the year. You get yourself some exclusive episodes, community Zooms, a weekly live stream. Go ahead and click that button in the Instagram. And if you don't want to click it on Instagram, just click thebros.memberful.com to join today. I reeled it back in.
And look, this is the kind of breakdown that you can get on our community Zoom. We put ourselves in the shoes of an employee at Klinkos.
Klinkos.
Is that
Good
what it was?
Kinkos.
Kinkos, yeah. No. It's a long day, everybody.
Pop copy.
Everybody relax. Yeah, pop copy. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
great
pop copy.
That has to be a real experience.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I mean, maybe she was just making her own poster boards at home. I doubt it.
No way.
Very much so.
No way.
But yeah, What a time.
Yep, the premeditation makes it all that much worse. But Shamea's mom spits some truth. Just telling all the ladies, look, at the end of the day, it all comes back to this group. So don't fuck each other over. Always keep it in the group and make sure that it's at least agreeable or you can get back to common ground. Don't do this because it comes back on all of you. I was like,
I love seeing that from her mom too, because
awesome.
I feel like that's the energy that Shamea's had the whole season.
yeah, now you
We
see
get
where she
more of that
gets
at the
it.
end of the episode, and then there's even like an introspective confessional talking about like, hey, I didn't expect myself to be in this position.
100%.
You're doing a great job.
It's great. And
Seems
just
like you got it from your mom.
to see where she got it from,
Yep.
it's interesting. But we get to Portia, and she's talking about the Charles comment that she made to Angela. And she's like, oh, I was just playing. And the minute I saw how mad you got, I reeled it back in. Like, oh, we're not that tight. I can't make that joke. She knows something, right?
I think so, or she
There's
thinks she knows
there,
something.
or she heard or saw.
I took it like she might be a little intimidated by Angela Oakley.
Oh, you think that she's feeling the pressure from
Like
Angela
I
Oakley?
would be.
I would definitely be.
Yeah.
I would definitely be. She's a very impressive woman. So I get that part of it. But I think that's going to come out. Something's going to come out that she's seen or heard. Again, I'm going to defer back to what Angela said. She's dating Charles fucking Oakley or married to Charles Oakley. I would imagine it's going to take a hell of a lot to rattle her from the rumor game.
Yeah.
Because he is, again, my favorite thing that I've seen in our comments on YouTube from Atlanta recaps. How many people had no clue who Charles Oakley was?
That's great.
And they're like, he really was like a superstar. So he's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
Very big deal.
he's a very big deal. So I'm sure they've dealt with shit like this before. So I would imagine she's not going to be rattled, but I do think there's more there.
Well, this was like a very big Angela episode for me. From going to Shamea's house, and you could see the two of them chatting, and even a little bit later, like there seems to be a budding friendship going on here where we started off on the wrong foot twice, and now it looks like they're getting closer.
Yep.
Love to see that move, and the rest of it's like, all right, she's playing, she's getting into this. I like to see it.
I agree. But Portia starts talking about her divorce after Drew arrives because Drew says, I'm getting ready for court and, Ralph and I are still coexisting, but because he's in the house, it feels like we're still married sometimes. And Portia's talking about her divorce from Simon, hoping that at some point they can get to at least be cordial for the kids' sake.
Yeah.
And she tells this story about I guess Simon filed like a cease and desist or something or paperwork against her mom for helping her break into Simon's house, which was also Portia's house or some bullshit. And then you get this really sad story about Pilar, Portia's daughter, asking, hey, where's Simon? No longer calling him dad. I guess she used to call him dad.
Yeah.
Now just, where's Simon? Oh, he's at work. Oh, how long? Oh, don't worry, I'll check on. And she texts him and he leaves her on red about the kid. That tells you who Simon is.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. Put your shit aside. The kid just asked where you are. You're going to fucking ghost her? That's fucking brutal.
Now, you know what would probably be pretty good, though, and this would be nice to see, is if Drew and Portia were in a good spot and Drew could help her out.
No, it wouldn't. No, that's the dumbest shit, bro. Like, when I wonder
I
when she watches.
I wish you could see my reaction when she said that. It'd be so nice if, like, we are where we are, but, like, I would really love to be there for her. Why are you where you are?
Because of you. Because you do things and then you spin these weird narratives and you pretend like you're not doing things. Like the way I don't think we've seen a true confessional out of her.
No.
Ever.
No, definitely
It's
not.
always like fucking Shamea catches in her a lie later. Like she's always up to something and it's always not worth it. There's no reason. It's that person that just lies to lie and you're like, why are you doing that?
There are a lot more, I feel like, in Atlanta. There's a lot more interjections from the producers during those confessionals than we see in a lot of the other shows.
I agree. I wonder if it's because
why is there not a goddamn producer sitting there saying, "Why are you guys where you are, Drew?" But nobody ever asked Drew a follow-up question or confession.
they definitely do.
Spouting lies. You
They
think just
definitely
cut it
do,
'cause there's
and then
just nothing more.
She says the same shit. They're like, this is unusable because you're lying so bad. It's not even entertaining lies. That's my whole thing. The lies she makes, it's like, why are you doing that? It's just going to put you in a weird spot later. And it doesn't give you any advantage now.
No.
She's like, I just want to be there for my friend. It's like, she doesn't like you.
No.
What are you talking about?
Because of you.
Because of what you did with Dennis. You weirdo.
Continue to do with Dennis.
And act like she's the problem. You act like Portia's the problem. And you're still carrying on with Dennis behind her back.
And this is
you find that out later.
Is she lies about stuff that she could easily just own
and explain.
And people would be like, I kind of get that. If you sat there and said, look, I understand that it's putting you in a weird spot. It's kind of fucking weird. You know that Dennis is my producer on this show, and you're not going to let him film with me. We're doing promo for a song. I want to get it out there, and this is a great way to get it out there. How many times do we see other women do fucking music and shows and one-woman shows and all these things going on, and they put it on the show? It's great publicity. That would make a lot of sense.
Well, maybe not the way you did it. It was still a little aggressive. I would say more so like just talk to her and say, "This is my career." You're telling she.
I'm giving her more grace, actually.
I know you are.
I'm even saying like, "Hey, just don't lie about it."
Yeah.
If you just were honest about it,
That's all.
Because that's actually probably pretty good drama for the show. If you don't accept what Portia wants to do with Dennis and just say, "This isn't about you. You guys aren't together anymore," that would be fun. That would be a good head-to-head. Instead, you're delusional and you're lying your ass off. And you're still somehow at a point where you're like, I don't understand what her issue is.
With no ground to stand on because you were weird about it out of the jump.
Just own it. That would be good TV.
It's so frustrating. But I'm liking the newcomers for the most part. Like I said, I like Kelli a lot because she's worked her way in, but it's not too much.
Yeah.
It's like just the right, because she doesn't push things too hard. She just brings things up. And this is a great note for new housewives listening to us right now. If you're lobbying for a spot on one of these shows.
Yeah.
At some point in your life.
That's how we do recon.
Exactly. The way that she asks this question to Portia and Drew, I was like, that's the perfect way to do it. It's not antagonistic. It's, hey, by the way, are you two good yet? Like, what's going on? It's light. It's easy. You're not pushing. You're just putting it out there and allowing them to wrap it up. And here's why I love Atlanta. I've said it 8 times for 8 different reasons. Portia's like, I don't have time. Yep. I'm over this shit. I need to be more mature and move on. It's not worth it. Whatever. We'll be cordial. We'll coexist. Fuck yeah. Great. Amazing. I love it.
Probably not going to last, but yeah.
No, but that's what's good is because we're not going to have to discuss this for 3 episodes now. But in 4 episodes, something dumb's going to happen.
When they go to Nashville, yeah.
Right. And so it allows for organic moments to happen because they're trying to avoid it, but there's going to be an unavoidable conversation or she's going to see something or hear something. And then that moment's going to hit that much harder because we haven't discussed it. Now she's like, what the fuck? I thought we were over this. Boom. And then we get an entertaining scene. So that's a much better way to do this. And I'm glad that Kelli's kind of, she's hitting her stride.
She is. She knows what she's done.
She does. But this was I felt really bad for Kelli when she was with her daughter, Chloe, because she's amid her divorce. And once again, the children on these shows are way too mature.
Yeah.
They're way too smart, way too wise. I don't understand it. They're wise beyond their years. Chloe is so calm, cool, and collected about this situation going on with Kelly's ex. It's wild. And she's so, like, stoic. She's like, yeah, it's
incredibly stoic.
It's tough, but, like, I'm okay.
And as much as, like, just once I would like to see a teenager just be a teenager on one of these shows and be like, oh, yeah, like, wouldn't it hit so fucking hard if you saw a teenager get caught like drinking at a friend's house or something, and then we got to watch one of these housewives
like
do
that.
Like,
then
give
it's
them
on.
shit for it.
Then they get an underage on TV.
Do some dumb teenage shit that doesn't involve anything illegal.
How about that? That's better.
That's fine.
That's better.
Get in trouble at school.
Yeah,
that's fine. Go to the principal's office, and then we get to watch mom beat mom.
That would be.
I would like to see that. Instead, we have these emotionally intelligent teenagers that make me feel like shit because they're way more in touch with what's going on than I am.
They say things. I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't handle that like that.
It's like going to a therapy session.
It's
like,
great. I mean, it's impressive. This is not a knock. It's just, it's always, I'm always astounded by how emotionally intelligent these kids are. I can't even say intelligent, but these kids, they're impressive.
We're watching these emotionally intelligent teenagers, and we're like, how can I make this about me?
Yeah, how can I make this about myself right now is exactly where my head goes. But I guess an article came out about her situation with her ex. She has previously been saying that he's still in jail. I guess he just got out of jail. Everyone thinks he's still in, but he made a statement. And it's like, oh, he's all about family, this and that, but not about Chloe. It's just about his kids because he's not Chloe's father. And that's fucking nuts when she was like, you know, he was 2.5. Or she was 2.5 when he came into our life. So, like, he more or less raised her from that age. So, for him to then just tap out is disgusting. So, this guy's a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
Kelli feels like he's letting Chloe down. And that's when Chloe's like, I'm okay. Mom, I'm fine. Like, I don't expect anything from it. It's all good. And Kelly's concerned, understandably so, about how this is going to affect Chloe's relationship with men in general, with marriage in general, with all of that. And she hits her with one of the coldest lines, and she was just being herself, just being honest, and she wasn't trying to be mean to her mom. But she's like, "Oh, what if I end up like you?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oof, oof, magoof." How do
Yeah.
you respond? Kelly handled it really well. Like, credit to her for not being like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I think I might do that. I'd be like, "Dude, shut up,
Yeah.
jerk." But yeah, I thought she
far.
handled it well. But it was just that was a tough scene to watch at the end there because I just felt bad for her. But it is nice to see their relationship. They're clearly very close. So
Yeah, Kelly's really getting up there for me.
yeah, she's moving up the rankings for sure. We'll do a power rankings at the end of this episode. How about that? Everyone's been asking for them.
That's gonna be tough.
We'll do a power rankings.
Kenya on the list or no?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's last, so yeah, but but we get to Drew. And she is moving out for the weekend. Ralph gets to ascend from the depths of the basement and be a human being for 3 days. And so she has to bounce, and she's going through the situation. And look, Drew's not my favorite. I love her on this show for Drew reasons, but like I don't like her. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, great. But watching her go through this is like, yeah, okay, this is kind of tough. I understand. I feel bad for you. I'm feeling for the kids. It's like, God, this is gonna be weird to leave your house. And then she loses me immediately because Ralph comes upstairs and she's like, why is he up there? What does he do? I don't know, Drew. Why is Ralph up here mic'd up, ready to film a scene?
Yeah.
So weird. You had no idea he was going to come out of the basement with a microphone on?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to go fourth wall break there. I will say there are a lot of shitty guys on this show, a lot
Ralph's
of
the
shitty
worst.
exes. We don't get to see a lot of the shitty exes, but don't worry because we've got Ralph on the show with a confessional.
Do you know why?
Well, yeah, I mean,
He's broke and he needs a check.
he pays all the bills, brother.
Fuck that. No, he doesn't.
But
We don't know what he does.
We have no idea what he does. He chases his passion, I'm going to assume.
He goes
There's
to-
a lot of passion chasing
He
on
goes
these
to
shows.
tech conferences and gets lanyards. He's like, look at him at tech conference. Like, doing what, bro?
yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you do?
No clue. But I do feel, and I had a weird, not revelation, but I just had a weird feeling. I think we've been completely clouded in our judgment about this whole Ralph living in the basement thing. It is so goddamn funny that we forget how it actually plays out
Oh, yeah.
and how incredibly awkward that is in
Yeah.
their actual divorce settlements. Like, I applaud the judge because it is the funniest
It's
thing ever.
hysterical.
But that's a terrible fucking call by that judge.
God, yeah. Like,
That is ridiculous. You've got this man living in the basement and you got her leaving for a weekend. He comes upstairs and there's issues and they have to fight in front of the kids.
yeah.
Probably every single time that Drew has to leave for the weekend.
She claims this is the first time that
I
he's come
call
up the
bullshit on
stairs.
that one, but hey, we know that he sneaks up at like 3 a.m. and eats a snack from the fridge.
Oh,
'cause
yeah. He's
got good
crushing
snacks.
shredded cheese.
Yeah, come on.
Absolutely crushing shredded cheese.
it-
Because
but-
he's got the divorced dad fridge. He's got 2 beers, like an old piece of fruit, and some cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just incredibly uncomfortable. When he walks up, I didn't even think about he's mic'd up. He's ready to go. I'm just like, he just walked upstairs and she's like, what the hell's going on? It's not your time yet. That is a bizarre situation.
It's so strange. Like, if you take
It's still way funnier than bizarre.
I agree, and if you take the fourth wall break out of it, sure, uncomfortable situation. Obviously, that's not what you want. Your ex walking up the stairs. It's awkward. There's just absolutely no way that she was blindsided when he walks in. One in a great outfit to the point where she's like, "Ooh." I'm like, "Ooh, what? What do you mean, ooh?" Don't fawn over this man. Send him back to the basement.
Maybe they'll get back together.
I don't care. you
You
know what I care
love
about?
anymore?
Fuck that. I care about the kids. I don't want them to fuck the kids up.
This was the first scene where, and again, this was probably part of it too, because obviously, like, their daughter is young enough where she's like, Daddy's here. JoJo was like, hey, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's
and I know
my
JoJo's
point.
not that old, but like, I think if you're over like 4 or 5, you're like, what is
You're
going
gonna
on
feel
here?
what's going on.
Yeah.
Like there's something different. Dad's in the basement a
And
lot.
that's where I asked the judge, what are you doing? What is this?
It's because they can't.
It's got to just be a bit for the show, right?
I mean,
The judge watches the show and he's like, oh, it's kind of funny. We're going to put you guys on a texting app that I'm going to monitor.
I love that. If that guy's just a huge fan of Atlanta, he's like, ooh, I can add to the drama. I really truly think that Ralph can't afford to move out of the house.
Wait, unrelated question.
Sure.
Are there like some court proceedings going on with Kenya and Brit?
Oh, are
Is
there?
there like a defamation lawsuit or anything like that?
I haven't heard
going on?
anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. But I was thinking that judge is probably chomping at the bit.
Oh, you think
Get a
this is the
part
same
of
guy? Ugh. Come on over to Judge
What
Bravo.
can I do next?
Yeah, I'm churning storylines.
Order to
out.
Bravo that Kenya has to stay on the show and she can only film with just Brit.
That would be wild. He's just the Bravo judge. That's a new show. That's a new show idea. There we go.
That's a really good show idea.
The Bravo judge. It's
Yeah.
like Judge Judy, but Bravo only. But like you said, they get into it and over an exterminator, and the judge ruled Ralph's got to take care of the exterminator. Ralph ruled she's got to take care of the exterminator because I pay all the bills around here.
But this is why these scenes, and like, do I care who's paying for the exterminator? No. Not even remotely close to it. But I don't know who's lying.
I don't either.
Can't figure it out.
Not sure who's
Did
paying
Drew
what.
actually talk to her lawyer? Is it actually in there? Probably not.
I don't know.
Did Ralph actually figure out that it's supposed to be on Drew? Probably not.
Is Ralph paying for things?
Has
I don't
anybody
know.
mentioned exterminator before this scene? Probably not. I don't know what's going on. I can't make heads or tails of it.
Me neither. But that's where he makes the claim that he pays all the bills. She doesn't pay for anything. I don't believe that. But like you said, I don't know who to believe. This is a collective of liars, these two, and I don't know which one to believe. Drew says her lies much more softly, so I'm inclined to lean towards
Leaning
her.
Yeah.
And I also just really hate Ralph.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Leaning towards Drew for
yeah,
this one.
this man showed up to a confessional for his ex-wife's show without a shirt on. What a loser.
Yeah.
Go back to, you know what?
Estranged husband.
I
is
figured
the
it
tag
out.
that he got.
Estranged husband is a nice tag for him. I would just call him a douchebag. But
I feel like you have to be like more than 50 feet away to be estranged. But
do you
yeah.
think that his suit shirts are upstairs so he can't go get them?
Oh, that's a possibility. Yeah.
So that's
Or
why.
he doesn't have like an iron or an ironing board.
Oh, in the basement. Yeah. So he tried the steam shower trick where you just turn the shower on. It didn't really work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
And his shirt just got wet. Yeah. All right. I think we figured it out. But let's get to the recording studio with Shamea. Working with RL. So, guy's been in the business for a while. He's worked with the likes of Luther Vandross, Jamie Foxx, Genuine. He's got a good, I'm just trying to get the pedigree out there to see where this one falls on the Magooter meter of housewife
Here's
singles.
the thing. You know I was thinking about it, right? You
That's
know I
what
was thinking that like we're obviously going to have to talk about it. I don't have an issue with the producers.
I don't think you do. I'm talking about the whole thing in general.
Yeah, no, I just get uncomfortable when people sing. And they did a lot. in
She's
this
got a
episode.
good voice.
Fine.
This is where we differentiate.
Okay, so you were just sitting there like during her confessional when the producer's like, "Hey, can you sing a little
I
bit?"
was
for us?"
laughing.
I really wanted to turn it off.
I know,
couldn't
because I
do
know
it.
you. I
It's
laugh.
just awkward. It's just really awkward. And like you could be really good at singing. There could be a show about fucking Lady Gaga or something, and I'll be like, this is just not my cup of tea.
That's
I went to Coachella,
fine.
so I'm talking about Lady Gaga.
No, I get it. Ha 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 ha. I get it. But the emotions that it instills in you are interesting because you get like mad.
I get mad, I think, when I get uncomfortable. It's like I'll go one of two
Do you
ways.
think-
If I get really uncomfortable, I will probably laugh at something. If I get a different side of uncomfortability, I get angry.
Do you think that it's like deep rooted issues that you want to be able to sing without shame, and so people that do it, you don't like it because you want to do it, but
I
you
do
don't?
sing a bit when I get that like
Oh, I know.
nervous energy.
I know.
Yeah, I'll just like start humming something or singing
Yeah, I get it.
something.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Like, is this like a deeper rooted thing where it's like I want to express myself, but I can't? So fuck anyone that does.
We're gonna have to get into that in our next session because we are just about out of time
Oh,
in
we
our
ran up.
session.
Ding. Saved by the bell. But Angela comes in, and this vibe, I'm liking this vibe because Angela apologized on Portia's behalf. She's like, I feel really bad what happened at dinner the other night. This was your song. The way that Portia disrespected it was weird, which is weird because, and Shamea says it, she's like, I've been Portia's biggest cheerleader, and I'm excited to unveil this song.
Yeah.
She does, not only does she not let people listen to it by talking over it, but she gives Drew the credit. And I don't even think that Portia thought it was Drew. I think she was just being weirdly shady.
I think she was being weirdly shady too. That's how I took it. But this was the first step that Angela's made this season where I'm like, this is a move.
She's making moves.
It's a
this
good move,
episode.
by the way, because
Yep.
we pointed this out, and it brought me back to the first episode when Portia walked up while Shamea was getting her Rolls Royce and made it all about her. Everyone's like, oh, that's kind of a weird move. Why is she doing this?
Very
Get out of the
weird.
way. It's not your birthday. I forgot all about that in the midst of all the things that have been happening the last couple episodes. Who could blame me? But here we are again, and I'm like, that's a really good point, Angela. Way to pull on the heartstrings there. Like, hey, is this friendship real or is it a little one-sided?
Well, she keeps stealing her thunder.
Uh-huh.
Every chance she gets, she brings it back to her. It's like, that's weird
Yeah.
because Shamea's, your cheerleader. She's been your supporter for a while, and she's just trying to have her own moment for a split second. That's why I was laughing in the confessional. She's like, "You're going to hear me today," and just sings the whole. They're like, "Give us a little snippet," and she's like, "From the top," sings the whole thing. I love that. I think she's awesome. But I also
She's great.
She's got a great voice. Yeah. Acapella was a great voice. And God damn it, Drew. Fucking God damn it. Because Drew shows up and Shamea's going through like the contract and, everything to get to this point, and she's back in the business. She's excited. She goes through who she's worked with again, and she's stoked because RL got her like fired up about it. Like when she shake the rust off, she's like ready to get back in. Drew's like, tell me about it. I know exactly what you mean because that's what Dennis did for me, and all these royalties that he's laying out and all these other contracts and stuff, that's going to pay for PJ's college. And Shamea's like, I already know that his college is paid for. And she's like, snacks, baby. I'll buy him some snacks. Yeah, that's comparable to a tuition.
Yeah,
snacks.
College tuition, snacks.
Don't get me wrong.
Snacks probably more in line with how much you're going to make from your song, but yeah.
Hey,
she is. Look, I get that you have to have an ego to be an artist like that.
Sure.
Drew's not good.
Hey, look.
Shamea is better than Drew,
I
actually, in my mind. And she's got better producers because she has way more money than Drew.
She has real producers, first of all. Dennis is not like RL.
What was it? I'm trying to remember
even
what
Angela
Dennis's,
walked.
Nickname was. Yeah, Elite Kid? No, I can't remember. Damn it.
Big Den. Big D.
Big D.
Big old D.
Big old
That's what they call Dennis.
Yeah.
But no, like even Angela, when she walked in, was like, holy shit, RL. And she's like, I know. So like, he's got clout. Dennis just picked up a fucking soundboard a year ago and wants to bang Drew. And he's like, I produce. What's up?
You're knocking somebody's passion. Thought we didn't do that here.
I don't have an issue with passion, okay? You follow your passion. You follow your dreams, everybody. Yeah. You go out there and do whatever you... Lord knows I have. It's gotten me into some stupid situations, but that's what I've done my whole life. So yeah, go do it. But don't speak from a place of which you are not currently at.
But this is what Drew tends to do, and she does it every fucking season. Again, we can go back to it. It could be a very easy situation to just talk to Portia about. Maybe you don't clear the air entirely. Maybe you guys disagree, but at least you've said your piece. She has lied about it so many times that now she's fully convinced that she's fully in the right. And Portia's the one who's being weird about it.
Yeah.
So now she's making jabs. It's just going to get her in trouble. She did it every year.
100%.
Didn't she do it with Marlo like 2 years ago? Remember Marlo?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she does. And Shamea puts it perfectly. Stop going too far. Your intro is usually fine, but then you double down with some nonsense where everyone's like, what?
And that's the other thing, like, for the show itself, like, that is kind of her storyline right now. Like, yeah, you're estranged with Ralph, and that whole situation is incredibly funny. But now you've got the thing going on with Dennis. So, like, yes, we're going to talk about it. You're in a studio, a music studio of all places. Yes, of course, we're going to talk about Dennis. Fine, just leave it there.
Don't make
the other women think about it.
Yeah.
They're probably going to tell you, hey, are you going to try to talk to Portia at some point or no? Okay, cool. Great. Instead, you make these jabs, and who do you think is going to tell Portia? Probably Shamea, who's a good friend. Probably Angela, who's starting to figure out how the show works, and she'll go over to Portia and just drop a little comment in there. You're going to get screwed over again because it's all the things that you're doing to yourself.
And you just constantly make it about you're a one-upper. You are a one-upper because Shamea's having a moment, and you're like, well, I had a moment too, and I'm getting paid more for it. It's like no one asked, and no one cares. Yeah. And no one believes you. Because you lied again. You just, like, it's so weird. Why do you have to make the PJ College comment? Just say, oh my God, I get it. Like, that's what Dennis did for me. He reignited my passion. One, that leads to another conversation about Dennis. Great. Two, you don't put yourself in a situation where it's like, you're lying.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep.
As you always do.
Every time.
It's unbelievable. But
today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. And Steele, I don't know if you knew this, but April is Financial Literacy Month. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
How about that? And that's right. They made a whole month reminding you to finally take control of your money. Good news is you don't need 30 days. Acorns makes it easy to start saving and investing your future in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you've got is spare change. And that is great because, like Steele just said, we didn't even know it was Financial Literacy Month. I didn't even know that existed, to be honest.
I didn't say that.
But I feel like I should take some time to figure it out. And everybody should have goals. Acorns makes it incredibly simple to get started at least somewhere. And then you can kind of just get your feet wet, figure out what works for you. Like we said before, you can start with your spare change. It's the easiest thing to do. Every time that you go, you buy a coffee, it's, $5.17. Maybe it's like $7 now, depending on where you get coffee. But that extra 83 cents that's just sitting there, what are you going to do with it? It's just going to sit in your bank account. Maybe you'll spend it on something else. How about you invest with it? Acorns is going to make that very easy for you to do that. Sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/brosandShows or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorn Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorn.com/brosandShows. Now we'll get back to the show.
And we pick up with Brit and her mom. Mom just checking on her daughter after everything that happened. She's very supportive, which is nice to see. And, again, it does paint a picture for you of what she's going through. She's dealing with this every day. She goes to a confessional. She's like, I'm still reminded about this. And as you said, two blinds don't make you see, or whatever the fuck you said earlier.
Something like that.
The point is, what Brit did was wrong, sure, but the fallout from this is valid. She's allowed to feel like she's been through it because she has been through it. And
I'm sure it was the type of situation, too, where, obviously she knows what she's done in the past.
yeah,
But you go on a show like this, you know that somebody's going to start digging if you do something like that.
Not to that point.
Not to this extent at all. But it's got to suck for her because she's like, yeah, maybe we can kind of just get through it. I'm sure it's never going to be that bad. And lo and behold, here you go. And now you really have to go through it. And guess what? You're going to have to do it on camera. You're going to have to talk to your husband about this. You're going to have to talk to your mom about this for all of us to see. And right now, I'm like, feel as much as you want to feel.
Yeah.
This fucking sucks. We don't even have to talk about the comment that you made before this. I don't think, obviously you can say that there's a cause and effect somewhere in there, but we're not focused on that right now. Focused on what Kenya did to you and all of your emotions that you're going through. So I'm still fully like, all right, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. Get through this whole thing because it really sucks what happened to you. But the silver lining, it's bringing her and her family closer together. We've heard about her familial issues, especially with her sisters in the past. So the fact that she's reconnecting with those relationships, she's like, oh, they always have my back still, which is nice to know. And that she's been dealing with hate her entire life. And, it brings me to a very, very good quote from Dev. Hurt bitches, hurt bitches.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she says all the time. When people are rude to Dev, she doesn't give them the time of day. She just says, hurt bitches, hurt bitches. So I think she's just going through it. And again, feel it. Allow yourself to feel it.
Yep.
And I'm glad that Mom came in with the last little drop in there. She's like, Kenya was Miss USA. She should be bringing women up, not putting them down. I'm like, that's a great point. That's a great point. She's never done that, ever. Do you guys watch the show?
Sisterhood and women supporting women.
Yeah.
Big highlight in a lot of these shows.
Yeah, that Sutton sisterhood thing is, it just falls
Taking a
flat.
life of its own.
Just kind of falls flat.
Or a death of its own.
A what?
Or more of a death of its own.
Yeah, it didn't land there, and it's not really landing across the board.
No.
That's okay. She tried. But we get to Portia and Shamea, do a little mini golf, and, Shamea's obviously still upset about the song, but this goes to her point earlier. She's a people pleaser, and she does seem to try to keep the peace when it comes to Portia, at least. And she's like, I would bring it up, but, I know she's going through it, so I'm just going to kind of let it lie. And they start talking about Dennis and Drew. And this is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad. Dennis is an idiot. Drew's dumb. The way they're handling this is so weird to me because, like you talked about earlier, it's so avoidable.
Yeah.
And yet they just keep shooting themselves, and they have no feet left to shoot because they've shot themselves in the foot so many times. And she's like, well, I talked to Dennis, and he said he wanted to film, but he didn't. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh?
Now, help me out with this one. We did get a scene where she was in the studio and Dennis wasn't there.
Okay.
And then we got a scene where Dennis was there. That was right after, right?
Did they timeline flip?
I don't think they timeline flipped.
We would have heard about
But
it.
it was probably like a couple of days after. It's probably not
Sure.
like super far away. Dennis didn't film with the rest of the women showing up.
Correct, because then you get caught.
Yeah, but
But you're on camera
cameras,
anyway.
mic'd up. This is how it works. You've been on the show before.
It's just
multiple
so,
times.
Like, you guys got to know she's going to find out.
Yeah.
And, like, Portia's like, Dennis clearly wanted me to tell him no, but I wanted him to make a decision like a grown up, and he didn't make that decision, and then he lied to you about it
Made
because
the wrong decision.
I know.
But this is still, and look, obviously it takes two to tango in this situation. I think this is exactly what Drew wanted to accomplish this year.
Probably.
I don't think, and I gave her a little bit of a way out and saying like, yeah, obviously I want to promo my song, I want to promo my album, my EP, whatever it might be. I want to have Dennis there, and we're going to be able to do this. Didn't go as at all how you really planned it to go. But now I feel like Drew, and this is how I feel about Drew in these shows, I think she realizes that. She's like, yeah, I'm going to really push Dennis to come film with me. I'm really going to do it. I'm going to do it under the guise of promo. But in reality, it's really just, I'm going to further the storyline along. I'm going to get Dennis in trouble. He'll be in more trouble than me because he actually has to have a relationship with Portia.
But what are we talking about? What have we been talking about? Because she's doing it this way. Her making this album. So she knows what she's doing. She's promoting doing this. And she's trying to keep the storyline alive. One, for the show. Two, because we're still talking about her making music. So it's free promo, and she knows that.
Yep.
That's why you get those confessionals where she's like, I'm trying, but it is what it is. It's like, you know what you're doing, dude. And you always do. It's just fucking Drew, man. But we start talking about Shamea, and she wants to have some more kids. She's going through IVF. The embryo's ready, and I guess Portia's got an embryo on ice with Simon. So she's talking about how everything needs to go through like these loopholes to try to figure it all out. It's a pain in the ass, and she keeps getting hit with ceases and desists from Simon. And she says what I wish so many housewives on the outs with their men would say. I wish Dorit would say this. I wish Kyle would say this about Mo. I wish so many people on these shows would say this about the dudes. He wants to stay at war because he wants to be a star.
Yep.
I am divorcing an influencer. That is a blanket statement across the board of Bravo with all of these dudes trying to hitch their wagon to their wives. They're jealous. They're insecure. And they try to just jump ahead and use their wives' clout to try to make a name for themselves. Do your own thing. This is your wife's show. All right? Stop being jealous and weird. Simon, we've seen Simon on this on shows in the past. Like, we know Simon. Yes, that's all he gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a star, and he's not. He's in jail.
And
So
I think that's pretty much true across the board for all of those guys that you just mentioned. They never care about the collateral damage.
no,
They
not
don't
at
care
all.
about how it's going to affect their ex-wife. They don't care about how it's going to affect their children. They just want to hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt bitches, hurt bitches.
Hurt bitches, hurt bitches. The best devism of them all.
Yep.
But we get to Brit and Kelli and Paris. Star.
Yeah, big time star.
Paris needs to be on this show more. Friend of, get more Paris on this show. But we're having a nice luncheon where it's a peaceful luncheon. We've got nice linens. We got lemon decorations. We're having chicken and waffles, for fuck's sake.
Hell yeah.
Everyone be cool, man. Just everyone be chill. That's the whole goal here. Portia calls in sick. And Kelli
I want
is...
to get a Portia calling in sick counter, by the way.
That's
got to be the
three.
third one.
That's three.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got three
We're
Portia
counting
sick.
the Miss Drew connection.
That's what I was...
got
Yeah,
three,
that's
yeah.
three. So she's missed three things.
Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, we'll keep a ticker there. We'll definitely keep a ticker on it. But Kelli is talking about her bitter divorce. We got that story about her ex getting out of jail. He owes $10,000 in child support. Angela is still hot. She made it very clear she is not perimenopausal. She's the hottest bitch in the room. There is a difference.
There is a
She
difference.
needs the fan to cool down because she's just too damn hot.
And I believe her.
I do too. I believe anything that Angela says. But Drew arrives, Brit arrives, everyone's there, and you can tell again the situation has consumed Brit. If it didn't start out with this luncheon goes way different.
Yeah.
Everyone's checked in with Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately Brit 180s.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which I don't really blame her for feeling a type of way
I
about
don't
that.
either.
I didn't. This is why I said that this episode did not go how I thought it was. I thought it was just going to be a constant, like a revolving door at Brit's with all these women coming in to check on her, make sure she's okay. Based on what we saw last week, based on how the episode started, I'm like, all right, everybody's kind of in the same camp, the correct camp. This is fucked up. Let's not even talk about Kenya. Let's not really talk to Kenya. We're just going to leave that one lie, but we're going to make sure Brit's okay.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that comment was made, we've all checked in with Kenya. We've got her side of the story. We want to make sure you're okay. It's like, ugh, why'd you start it off like that?
You shouldn't have said
What are
that.
you guys doing?
You just shouldn't have said it.
No.
Like, there's no reason to bring up that name
Yeah,
in front
even
of
if
Brit.
Brit deep down knows, like, yeah, they know Kenya, they're friends with Kenya. Of course, they're probably talking to her. saying Kenya at all to Brit within a week or so of this happening, not a great call.
It's like saying Voldemort at this point.
Yeah.
You can't. She who must not be named
Yeah.
is what they should have done.
At Harry Potter's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. That's just not a good move. And immediately she's like, why did you guys talk to her? Why do you guys care how she's doing after what I just went through? Then she starts to go into the fallout that she's experiencing. And she says, I lost my insurance license, which she referenced earlier that might happen. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. You lost it already? Like with no
She
pushback?
didn't, because then at the end she's like, I'm under investigation.
I
or
know.
whatever." So she
Weird.
Look, she is obviously
She's going
highly
through it.
emotional. She's going through it. So maybe she's just saying things that she doesn't necessarily mean, but this wasn't a great approach.
It was not a good approach, and Angela questions it because Angela has this business where she flips houses, so she has her license for insurance to insure the houses. Makes a lot of sense, one-stop shop. She's knowledgeable on it, so she goes, How do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? And Brit immediately, and again, we will take into account what she's going through.
Sure.
Emotions are high. She's running on no sleep. She's a little tense, a little irritable, but she comes out really hot. And she's like, what do you mean? What do I mean? What are you talking about? What I just went through. And Angela doesn't put up with shit,
No, she doesn't.
right? Like we saw it with
It's like, you're not
Shamea.
going to talk to me like that.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not even like oh my God. Like
It's not even like I'm taking Kenya's side or anything like that. It's simply just she asked you a question to elaborate on that. Maybe at the end of the day, by the way, if you take the sad victim approach, which I think probably would have played a lot better right now, like, hey, I'm going through it, guys. Like, let's just try to have a peaceful day. No, okay. Going in Angela is not going to help. At the end of it, she could have been like, look, like, I deal with all of that. Like, I can probably help you out with something.
that's probably where it was
'Cause
going.
I think that's how Angela operates.
Yeah.
Instead, you question her and then raise your voice, and Angela's like, whoa, nope.
Yep.
Not
Time
doing that
out.
to me.
Time out because you haven't even taken accountability for how we got here. And I'm like, and there we go.
Yep.
Now we're back to what you did wrong.
I thought it was going to take a few episodes for us to get back to that. Like, hey,
It should have.
You did something.
It should have
that
taken.
provoked Kenya. Yes, she retaliated way worse.
Yeah, you
And
poked her. She stabbed you.
She's still wrong, but you did make a comment.
And it comes out now because she went at Angela. And Angela doesn't pull punches. And it's not even like this overly like aggro approach. Like she's
No.
not like coming at her. It's just she's stating facts now. She's like, all right, you want to fuck around? Like, here you go.
Yep.
This. And she starts naming things. And Brit's getting more and more upset. She's like, this is my day. And then, of course, Angela's like, it's every day is your day. And I'm like, you're just teeing her up.
Yep.
Teeing her up, Brit. And I get it. You're going through a lot of shit, but just, no.
Rein it in.
Just rein it in, please. And she's
They
like,
want to support you. I guarantee you,
They
deep
do.
down, they want to support you. That's why they're there. You just have to accept the support, and
and not say read the room 5
Yeah.
times, not say Angela, you're slow.
yeah.
Like, and again, if you take this and the bank, clearly when Brit feels some type of way or feels cornered or feels unsupported, she reacts.
Mhm.
So we're getting a picture of who Brit is. Does that mean
Yeah.
she's a bad person? No. Does that mean she's reactionary? Yes.
It means she's definitely going to open herself up to a lot of things on this show.
Correct. You're leaving a blind spot open that's very easily attackable.
And if we look at it from Angela's approach, Angela wasn't being mean to Brit. She was asking questions, and then as soon as you raised your voice at her,
Now she's got a problem.
now she's like, all right, you're not going to talk to me like that. But she's not coming back after you until you escalate things.
And then she starts coming back to her where she's like, you like to throw rocks and hide your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, my hands are right here. Where's your band? I'm like, oh, fuck. At that point,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Britt, you should just get up and leave
Uh-huh.
because that was chef's kiss. Well done. But everyone keeps trying to rein everybody in. Whoa, 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 peace brunch. This is the peace brunch. Can we put more peace in these drinks, please? Can everybody settle the fuck down? It calms down for 2 seconds. Everyone's breathing. I think
The old seat switcheroo.
the seat swap is important. And I think, again, with a moment to breathe, everyone's like, okay, this is still about Brit. She's going through it. Let's just get through today. Shamea's like, I'll ask the question calmly. How did you lose your license?
Yeah.
Well, I'm under investigation. Thought so. Shit. Damn it. And she's like, Now Brit goes off again because she's like, well, there's rumors. And Angela, who I'm going to take her word on it because she's an expert, she has her license, is like, you don't lose your license over rumors.
Yep.
Would there be an investigation? Perhaps. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're not going to lose your license over this. And I believe Angela when she says that.
So do I.
And then she drops a twirl out on her, which is a Kenya-ism. So now it's getting deeper and deeper. There's layers to this whole thing. And now fucking Drew needs to jump out of nowhere and Drew needs to get involved. And she's like, look, we could all admit that you're both wrong. I'm like, it's too early for the both wrong thing. She just saw her face plastered on a thing in front of people all over the internet doing something unsavory. She's not cool right now. Let's get her through the hump of 48 hours later and then say, hey, but you remember when you said pistols 5 times? You can have that conversation at some point. Well, how do you think it's going to go? Especially when Drew, of all people, is like, you're both wrong. Shut up, Drew. You're the only one, by the way, that stood up there next to Kenya after the whole party left. And yet you were still standing there like, woo, what happened?
Wow.
Shit.
Party.
Yeah.
How about that ride in?
Yeah, this party really died, huh?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. It's just, it's such a...
funny, too, because, like, the way that the approach that Drew was taking was a very sarcastic, goofy, funny approach. Like, oh, yeah, like, I don't know. And I'm like, I can't tell if she's being serious or not. Nope, she's not. Okay, nope, she's being sarcastic, and she's just antagonizing even more.
It's just... But she does it under the guise of, like, this soft voice. So, like, I care. And it's like, no, you don't. You're just poking and prodding some more. So they
You're
dance...
just happy Portia's not here.
Exactly. And they dance it out. And you can tell, like... Angela's not in. She's like, whatever. I'm just going to keep the peace here. Shamea's trying to actually keep the peace. All I need to say is, like I said in the beginning, extremely well-rounded show. We got family, we got drama, we got friends, we got marital issues, we've got kids involved. And I know the kids, rule number 1, leave the kids out of it. I'm just saying we're checking in with the kid. There's just a lot to discuss this season, and it comes back to one thing. These castmates are actually friends, and it makes a massive fucking difference.
Yep.
You need the history with the cast, or else it doesn't land when they get into shit, because they don't really care about the other people. In this, we get to see people actually care and react and try to help their friends or enemies in through it or out of it. It's just good. It's good. So all the Kenya people that are like, oh, the show sucks without Kenya. The season finale, it's blah. Shut up. Shut up, because you're wrong.
Knock it off.
Let's get to some questions.
First one up here from Rachel Nicholas. So this is kind of awkward, but I work in insurance. We're not all scammers.
Good to know.
Good to know.
We don't think you are.
Need maybe a follow-up question on that one.
Yeah, why are you...
Yeah.
Well, that makes me think that you... Why do you feel the
might be
need
a
to try to exonerate
Are you
yourself?
sure?
This is sketchy.
Yeah,
Rachel, you're sketchy. JK, you're great. So is your insurance company.
From AJJ265. Is it mirrored as Brit come in on fights on 11 when she really needs to be a 2? Yes.
She's just reactionary.
Yeah, it is. She's way too reactionary for a show like this.
I think, but that's the thing. Like, agreed, but at the same time, we've never, ever, ever seen a housewife thrown into the fire like that, period, let alone a newcomer.
Yeah.
Up against one of the, like, OGs of all time, Kenya. So, like, is she too reactionary? Yeah. Can you fault her? I mean, for the gun thing, sure. But, like, I don't know, man. If your emotions are that rattled, you're that fucking tired, you go to a luncheon and the first thing that someone says is we checked in with Kenya.
Tough.
I kind of get it. I still think she would have done herself a lot of favors if she mellowed out and just, like, tried to keep the peace. But I also, I'm just trying to...
If she kept it on just that and was like, what do you guys all talk to Kenya? That's kind of fucked. And then made them feel bad.
Yeah.
That would be the right approach because they should feel bad about that.
They should. Maybe it's a learning curve.
Like, obviously, again, we all understand that they're probably checking in with Kenya to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, what the fuck was that, dude?
But the fact that they brought it up to you as soon as you got there, you can give them shit for.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve. I'm not saying that, like, I love Kelli. I love Shamea. I love Angela. I love the rest of the cast. I'm still 50-50 on Brit. I have no idea yet. This is just so hard to, like, fully falter for the ending because it's like...
Yeah.
Where she's coming from, I can't imagine feeling like that. So it's like there's double-edged sword there.
Double-edged sword. And then last one here. This is just a funny little comment from Jamie Gibbs. No question, just wish we could have seen Shooter's face when Shamea was singing.
Love that that's become a thing.
Yeah, so it's mostly just me contemplating hitting the skip 10-second button.
I can tell you exactly.
I let it go.
You ready? If you're watching, if you want to see what Shooter looks like during these scenes.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Possible eye roll, yeah.
Yep. If you don't have YouTube, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah,
Missed that one.
yeah. But couple things before we wrap it up. One, that should do this at the beginning of the episode. No one's listening right now. The questions are over. But I was gonna say, we haven't asked in a while, but if you feel like going on Apple and leaving a little 5-star review for us, we'd be greatly appreciative of that. It helps us out a lot with the algorithm on there, and just so we can read what you guys think about us. You know, it's always nice to read nice things. And the other is, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel or following us on Instagram or TikTok, I don't really care about Twitter, X, whatever the fuck that is. But the other two, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, that's 3. Go ahead and give us a follow, because again, it just really helps us out, and we love doing what we do, and we love our audience, and yeah, it just gives us a little bump. So
It does. I know you just said that, you could do it in the beginning of the episode. I have a counter to that. I'm going to start doing it after I make a joke, and I'll be like a street performer.
Oh, that's
hey,
good.
did you enjoy that joke? 5-star review?
Well, here's some more.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. Okay, we'll figure it. Like, we're not good at plugs,
No.
but it's okay.
No.
I think we gotten better.
We're good.
Hey, you got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show, bros. Got to go.